As we move on to Lesson 1.6, it's important to note that first, Lesson 1.6 does require some advanced prep. You will want enough sheets of newspaper so that every pair of students can have their own. Also, it will help if the newspaper print is mostly text or blank and not a full-page ad or colored picture. In addition to bringing in sheets of newspaper, each pair of students requires 30 hole-punched circles of newspaper and 30 hole-punched circles of plain white printer paper. Consider asking a parent volunteer or a responsible student helper to complete this task ahead of time. Lesson 1.6 is a keystone lesson in this kit because it elaborates on the idea of inherited traits benefiting individuals in a species and provides evidence of this through an investigation of peppered moth populations during the Industrial Revolution. This lesson has several components to it, so consider whether you want to split this lesson up over several days or compact the lesson so it fits into one class period. The lesson begins with a formative assessment probe for students to get their thinking primed about whether animals can purposefully alter their traits to adapt to a new environment. This probe is now embedded for you in the lesson overview page in your digital kit manual, and it can be read aloud or printed for students to read and respond to. After the probe, the lesson has students operating in pairs to investigate how peppered moth populations were altered to favor dark-colored moths during the Industrial Revolution. For this investigation, students will need hole-punched circles from newspaper and hole-punched circles from plain white printer paper. These circles will represent the light and dark-colored moths. Students will also need an intact sheet of newspaper and an intact sheet of plain white printer paper to use as the different backgrounds for the investigation. Students will use forceps or tweezers provided in the kit to do timed trials where they are tasked with picking up as many circles as they can on the backdrop in 15 seconds. The big idea is that students will naturally see certain circles easier depending on the color of the circle and the color of the background paper. White circles are hard to see on white paper, and the newspaper circles are likewise hard to see on newspaper. Students will work with a partner to complete the time trials and record their results, as well as analyze the data and respond to some follow-up questions, all of which can be found in the Peppered Moth Simulation Record and Data Analysis activity sheets, which are all provided in this lesson. It is worth mentioning that this activity sheet has been revised from previous years to be more student-friendly. The lesson then has students read and take notes on 2 articles, which are also provided in this lesson plan. One article has been embedded in the digital kit manual, while the other article is provided via the website readworks.org. After students have read, taken notes, and discussed the main takeaways of the articles, the lesson concludes with an exit ticket. You can use the exit ticket provided by the teacher of this lesson, which is a printed sheet, or if your students have access to digital devices, they can use the Natural Selection interactive link provided in your digital kit manual to complete a digital exit ticket formative assessment instead.